God alert! It's the white dude, said Blackjack. The next person or horse that calls me that again will end up in a bottle of Merlot, Mr. D said. Mr. D? What do you want? Percy asked. What do I want? Why, you really think the immortal, all-powerful, lazy jerk master of Kep would not notice you leaving without permission? Maybe. I should throw you off this building and see how heroic you sound on the way down. Why do you hate me anyway? What did I ever do to you? You are a hero, my boy. I need no further reason. I have to go on this quest. I have to help my friends. Of course, you'd never understand that. Boss, said Blackjack, despite where we are and tied up, you might want to talk nice. The van was getting further away now, and they knew it would be out of sight if they didn't catch up soon. Have you ever heard of the story of Theseus and Ariadne? Mr. D asked. You see, like you, Ariadne liked helping others, and she once helped Theseus, who was also a son of Poseidon. So she gave him a really long string, and it helped him find his way out of the labyrinth. Then he awarded her with a proposal. And to her surprise, and as you people in modern times say, he dumped her. They sailed off to Athens, and halfway there, he abandoned her on a deserted island. I felt so sorry for her, I went to help her. I fell in love with her, and healed her broken heart, and made her my immortal bride. She still waits for me even now on Olympus. I shall go back for her once I'm done with this century-long punishment and this ridiculous cab directing. Okay, so what's that got to do with me? Percy asked. And I thought you got grounded for chasing nymphs. Why would you do that if you were already married? My point is, you heroes are all the same. You take what you want, use who you want, and then you betray everyone around you, just as Zoe Nightshade. Why her? Percy asked. With a wave of his hand, the vines untied themselves around Blackjack. Go on and follow your silly friends and find out for yourself. Wait, you're just gonna let me go, just like that? Percy asked. The prophecy says 5 heroes should be on the quest and 2 will die. Maybe I'll get lucky and you'll be one of them. But mark my words, son of Poseidon, live or die, you will prove no better than any of the other heroes. With that, he snapped his fingers, and his image folded like a page, and he was gone. Percy couldn't believe it. If Mr. D had just let him go just like that, maybe he did believe he stood a chance. Too close, said Blackjack. Yeah, said Percy. Hey, look, there's a donut shop down there, Blackjack said. Can we get something to go? Maybe later, said Percy. Let's go. The van eventually stopped at a rest stop somewhere in Maryland, New Jersey. Blackjack tumbled out of the sky nearby and was trying to catch his breath. Just stay here, Percy told him. I'm going to scout for a bit. Stay here? I can handle, Blackjack said. Percy put on the cap and walked into the convenience store. It was kind of hard because he had to keep jumping out of people's way to avoid bumping into them. He thought he'd get himself some coffee or a hot chocolate or something. He could have just left the money on the counter. But before he could make a decision, the quest group walked in. Grover, are you sure? Thalia asked him. About 85%, Grover answered. And you did this with acorns? Bianca asked. It's a time-honored tracking spell, Grover said, and I'm pretty sure I did it right. DC is like 60 miles from here, Bianca said. Nico and we used to live there. Wow, that's strange, and I completely forgot about that. I dislike this, said Zoe. The prophecy says west, so we should go west. Oh, like your tracking skills are better? Thalia growled. You challenge me and my skills? You know nothing of being a hunter, you scullion. What the heck is that? Thalia asked. Hey, come on, you two, not again. Let's just go, Grover told them. Grover's right. DC is our best bet, said Bianca. Oh, very well. Let us keep moving, Zoe said. We're all gonna get arrested just from letting you drive, Thalia said. I look closer to 16 than you do. Perhaps, but I've been driving since automobiles were first invented, Zoe said. Now let us go. Minutes later, Percy continued riding Blackjack and following the group. As they kept going, Percy wondered how old was Zoe anyway. If the first automobiles were invented like early last century or so, and she was around before that, she must have been ancient. And what bad experience did she have with heroes that Mr. D mentioned earlier? As they got closer to Washington, D.C., Blackjack started lowering his altitude. Hey, you okay? Percy asked. Oh, I'm fine, boss. I could take on a whole army. To tell by the way he sounded in Percy's mind, he could tell he couldn't go much further. And he kind of felt guilty about putting him through this. He made him keep flying for half a day, halfway across the coast and non-stop. So Percy landed him next to the Washington Monument. He didn't want to find out if security around here could track Pegasi on the radar, even if they could rely on the mist. Fortunately, the van was just parked across the street right in front of the Air and Space Museum. Listen, Blackjack, Percy told him. I want you to go back and get some rest. You sure, boss? Yeah, I'll be fine. You've done enough, and thanks a ton. A ton of hay, baby, Blackjack humored. That sounds good. Okay, but be careful, boss, 'cause I don't think they came here to meet anyone friendly. Blackjack swooped into the air and disappeared into the sky. Percy looked back towards the Air and Space Building. Then he noticed a black sedan parked in front of the building next door. The driver was wearing shades, a black uniform, and had a gray buzz cut. Even with the shades on, Percy recognized right away who he was. Dr. Thorne. Percy watched as he just stood there watching the quest group walk into the Air and Space Museum. After they were all inside, Thorne headed into the building next door, and Percy put on the invisibility cap and followed him. Seconds later, after they were inside, Thorne was about to pass through double doors with 2 guards between them. Percy had to sprint through right before they shut. Thorne had led him into a barely lit room with, for some reason, a pile of dirt in the middle. And right above them was a balcony. 2 mortal guards stood on either side. In the middle of the balcony, between 2 Drachni women, was a man whose face Percy couldn't see only because the shadows were hiding him as he sat down on a golden chair. Standing near him was Luke. "How many?" the man said with a deep voice. Percy was shocked. It was that same man in the shadows from his dream. "4 of them," Thorne answered. "Grover Underwood the satyr, the girl in black, and 2 of the hunters. One of them was Zoe Nightshade." "Do not mention that name to me," the man in the shadows growled. "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," Thorne said. Thorne kind of sounded like the man really scared him. That was especially weird for a monster. Then it just occurred to Percy that if Thorne were here now and alive, maybe his nightmares were true and Annabeth was alive too. And if so, where was she? "I should throw you down into Tartarus for this, Thorne," the shadowed man growled. "I sent you to bring me back the child of one of the elder gods, and you come back with a scrawny and lousy child of Athena? Get out of my sight!" Percy expected Thorne to go ballistic with the needles again, but instead, he just left the room. me take them, General," Luke said. "Patience, my boy," the man said. "You'll have your chance soon enough. Our guests should be occupied right about now, thanks to a friend. Now it's time to prepare the army." He pointed to one of the soldiers who held a small box. "Guard, do you have the teeth?" "Yes, General," said the man with the box. "Good," the general said. "Plant them, now." The guard walked up to the pile of dirt, opened the box, pulled out some small sharp teeth, and stuck them underneath the dirt. Then he picked up a watering can, and outpoured some red liquid which Percy could guess was not fruit punch, or ketchup. Then the soil started bubbling. "Soon, Luke, we shall raise an army that will make your followers on that boat of yours look insignificant," the general said. "Behold my ultimate killing machines!" Then from out of the dirt came an orange kitten. Meow. "What is this?" the general roared. "A cute little kitten? Where did you find those teeth?" The guard was shaking. "From the saber-toothed tiger exhibit, sir," he said. "You idiot!" roared the general. "I said the Tyrannosaurus exhibit! Get rid of that thing and don't let me see your face again!" He pointed to another guard. "You! Get me the right teeth! Now!" "You see," Luke said, "this is why I don't bother with mortals. They're all idiots." "They are easily bought and violent. That is why I love them," the general said. Then the other guard came back with big dinosaur teeth. "I'll do it myself this time," said the general. He stood up from his chair, and Percy could see his face now. The man had tan skin, eyes like stone, dark hair, and a matching suit, and he was really tall. He jumped down from the balcony to the ground floor, making a booming sound under his feet. Then he swiped the teeth from the guard, stuck them in the dirt, and took the watering can. "Those foolish mortals can't even tell whether they have dinosaur teeth or dragon teeth in their hands, especially when it's the dragon teeth of Cerberus." "Toss me the fabric," he said to one of the snake ladies. She tossed him a piece of shiny white fabric which Percy could guess was like the kind the hunters wore. "As soon as my soldiers have their scent, there will be no escape." Then, crawling from out of the dirt, appeared undead skeletons. Now Percy understood perfectly what was going on. The general needed monsters to control to hunt down the quest group, and that white fabric would help the skeletons to recognize their scent, if they had enough life in them to still be able to smell things, that is. Percy had to get that fabric before it was too late. Then one of them looked in Percy's direction, and Percy knew right away no magic item could hide him. He didn't have time to think. He just plowed through the skeletons and swiped the white fabric from the general's hand. "What?" he said. "What's this? An intruder cloaked in the darkness? Seal the doors!" "It's Percy Jackson! It's gotta be!" Luke said. Percy made it through the doors right before they slammed shut. Then Percy realized part of one of his sleeves were ripped off. Oh no! The skeleton that saw him must have yanked it at him while he was running. Now they had his scent. He had to find his friends and get out of there.